In this video, we are going to work on UV mapping techniques, specifically for mm, rigid or solid objects, or not so much for creatures, although you could use this technique in creatures and organic um, models. But there are some other tools that might make it a little bit easier. Still, we're going to take a look at some of the different tools for UV mapping that hopefully you'll be able to grab. So to start, we have this model here that I finished. I have modeled it, and it still has a few little things pending, but I think it's very close for me to get going with the modeling. I'm sorry, with the UVing. So I'm gonna start by just simply getting rid of those image planes, or at least for now, I'm going to hide them. So I can just change the visibility here on the image plane, just say 0 so it's not visible, or you simply select the image plane and then hit Control H and hide it, which is the same thing. Just hiding the image plane. They are not deleted. They're still there. If you look under your outliner, they're still there. They're just hidden. So first, of course, I have all objects separate. So each one of those objects is going to have different material, and all of them will require their own UV map. We're going to do the exercise starting with this piece and this piece, but before I do it, first of all, I need to make sure that I deleted history. There is a bunch of history still in it, which I kept cleaning up and adding information. So I'm going to delete the history on it, delete by type history, that's clean, and then I'm going to isolate it with Shift I, and I have now my piece. But before I start UVing it, I want to make sure my model is clean. I think it is, but you never know. You always think that you're done when you're not. So I'm gonna just select it. I'm gonna just go to mode 1 right now, and I'm gonna go under modeling, under mesh tool. I'm gonna open up the cleanup tool. Under the cleanup tool, there are different options for you to clean up the geometry, and you can choose what you want to. You can ask the program to clean it up right away to matching all these settings, but I usually don't do that. I don't let the program clean it up for me. I do it myself. So I just say select. Instead of letting the program to select the clean it up, I tell it to select to show me what's wrong. That way I can do it, and I'm going to tell it to show me the faces that are not four-sided, because I want them to be four-sided, so I don't care. The four-sided are good, but I want it to show me the ones that are more than 4 sides, which are the ones that I don't want to keep. Concave faces and faces with holes, we could ask those too. Non-planar faces, especially in objects that need some additional kind of flatting, it'll be able to show things. For now, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep it simple, just to say faces with more than 4 sides. I could also tell it to show me laminar faces or non-manifold faces, and the difference there depends on the way you have modeled it. What that is referring to is that lamina is when you have I'm going to show you here just a quick little example. I don't think I have lamina faces, but just in case, lamina is when you have, let's say I have this edge, and that edge was extruded by accident while I was building, and I have an edge like that, which I'm not seeing in my model. So that is a lamina. There's a lamina inside of my model that is kind of hidden, and you don't want to have that kind of models or objects in your model. The non-manifold is when you're working an extrusion. Let's say you have extruded a face, and let's say I just extruded a face and I just extruded it, but then I forgot that I extruded it, and there are faces in there that are hidden that I'm not seeing. So that's what I'm referring to non-manifold. So in both cases, it's good to read it, but I'm not going. I usually do clean up section by section. That way I know what I'm looking at. So in this case, I'm gonna say show me faces with more than 4 sides. I'm gonna say clean up. Make sure to keep it selected. Clean up. And then yes, it shows me there you are. I got some faces that still have more than 4 sides. So I'm gonna get closer and look at it and see what it is. And yes, I can tell this one is a 5-side polygon. So make sure that you clean up. This one is relatively simple. Usually you just try to find the best way to cut it to give you the best solution you want. In this case, I'm going to use the multi-cut tool, and I'm going to cut from this corner to this middle line here, and then to this other corner. That way I can get rid of maybe these edges. I'm doing Control Delete, that way I can delete the edges without having problems. And then I have created two quads instead of one poly. I have some triangles here, but I'm not too worried about triangles because my object won't need to deform there. So that might do the job. Okay. I could also do it, if I don't want to have those triangles there, I could simply just do this here and make sure that I can just clean it up and I'm good to go there. Always, it's just a matter of just fine tuning. Remember, when you delete edges, you want to hit Control Delete. You don't want to hit just delete on your keyboard. The reason for that is that Control Delete will clean up any vertices. Let me just undo that and show you quickly that. Oh, this one doesn't show the example. Let's pretend I'm going to show you quickly here what that does. So for example, if I have these edges here and I need to delete them, right? And if I hit delete on my keyboard only, but then I go and look by vertex, you see there is one vertex left there. So that is not a good thing. If you hit Control Delete, then that vertex gone, which is what you want. Okay, so there was another guy here that was giving me trouble. Let's see which one it was. Clean up. I can open it up again just to make sure that the settings have not changed. Clean up. So that one is cleaned now. There was this other guy here. This one is the same problem. So I'm going to cut again from that corner down here and this corner here, and that will give me the chance to have a let me just closer to it, select the edge and Control Delete. There we go. So I have four-sided. Let me just try to run my cleanup. Since the settings are already there, I can just do cleanup this time and nothing shows this side. There is one left on this other side, so it's the same issue as the back. So I'm just gonna just go and do the same thing, cut from this corner here down into this edge. The truth is that when I'm trying to find the best way to clean up, I just kind of like go little by little and try to find what I can do. It's not really, there is not a specific technique to find the answer. You just simply just little by little you're cleaning up, finding where you don't have anything. So okay, I'm gonna just run my cleanup again, and my model's clean now, which is great. Yes, I have some triangles, but as I said before, I'm not too worried about them. So I'm gonna just keep them like that, because my object doesn't need to deform that much, so it'll be okay. I got history again, so I'm gonna delete history. Okay, all good now. So I have my model ready to be UV, at least this part of the model. Okay, so if you open up your UV editor and you look at your UV editor, you see Maya still believes this is a square. You can see there's 6 kind of squares broken up in a bunch of things, but all the UVs are kind of overlaid on top of each other. And I'm gonna move this one to the side for a moment, and you can see that UV is right there, that they're really doing nothing that you want. We just need to start organizing our UVs the best possible. So we are going to start by looking at the different types of mapping that you can get. And when you're mapping, of course, what you're doing pretty much, you're opening this geometry so that you can create one texture that fits in the square of your UV map. So of course, that square is this quadrant that you can see here. That's your texture space. Whatever other one you use is going to be a repetition of that one inversed in one direction or inversed in the other one. But in this case, this is the area, the work area that you're going to be in case your texture. So I am going to start by looking at the different UV maps, and the very first one that you get is automatic. So if I hit automatic, let me just put this one here visible so you can see it while I do it. I'm gonna say UV automatic, and then you see right away Maya tries to solve the problem by itself, which is not that bad actually. You know, I was very surprised it did what it did there. You know, I can select that faces and it kind of got all the top. There is one little thing here that is showing up. I gotta make sure what that is. I don't know if that's what I was showing you, the lamina, if it's giving me a little hiccup there or something. Anyways, that is that. So automatic will try to do it the best the program can calculate it. Is not too bad. There are some little things here and there that need to be just fine-tuned, but it is grabbing face by face. This one is a bit less. This one is, and this one's are a little bit more, a little bit messier. So yes, automatic. I think it's worth testing it first because you never know. It may save you a lot of time. The goal we have is for this one in this case is getting you know, each planar face to be on its own, so it's easy for you to paint a texture in that area. Let's undo for a moment, and in order to explain the other UV options. And so I'm gonna just go back for a little bit until I go back to, let's see if I can go back here till I don't have the automatic UV map. Alright, here it is. I just undid all of that, so I'm back to where I have my original thing, and let's pretend the automatic UV didn't work. Let's pretend that in your model when you do automatic, you know, they don't come up, and so come the way they came, which actually weren't that bad. So I'm going to need to create face by face the different planars. So in this case, I'm going to grab the top, and then I need to create another one from the bottom, another one for this side, another one for this tip, another one for this other one, and then so on this one. Okay, so let's start with the top. So the best thing is to select that top face. Those top here might be a good idea to use your drag selection, and then select those faces. No, not that. Alright, I'm going to keep going there. I'm going to just pause my video for a moment and then do that off the video. Okay, I think I have selected all the top faces there. You just gotta be careful, make sure that you cover all the little edges, you know, so that you're not selecting just the center of the plane, but including all the edge and all the little details there, especially when you get into, for example, I missed that little corner there. So you just verify. If you missed one, you know, it's not the end of the world. You can add it later to the map here. For example, I went far and I unselect that one with my control key. There we go. I think I have it there. So I'm gonna just select. Make sure that I don't have anything selected on the other side. There is one guy here. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna do my first planar there. So I'm gonna say UV planar. I'm gonna open it up. I'm gonna tell it to do it. You could try best plane. Not a good idea, obviously. I think because it's too automatic. I usually go with the projection option, which in this case I want to project straight down on it, so it'll be on my Y axis. I'm gonna click on Y, and then you set the projection before deformers. That's correct. That meaning, you know, if there is an additional component deforming this object, you know, the projection will happen before that. So I'll explain that a little bit later. We don't want to create a new UV set. I'll explain UV sets a little bit later on a different video. Right, so I'm going to just project that, and when you see that you project, there is a locator that appears here, a projection locator that allows you to control it, but we'll see the UV map editor so you can see what's going on there. So that projection, it's stretching the whole thing to fit the whole square. I don't want that. I'm gonna shrink it down to make it something more proportionate to what the actual object is. And I'm going right now, it's still there, and I'm going to use the arrows to move it out of the work area. Why? Because I don't want to be digging or playing with that while I'm going to be cleaning on the other pieces, and because I still need to clean up the rest of it. So, and I have this one that I don't want to mess up with that anymore. Okay, so that one just did it. So that is the way you start creating a first planar mapping. You would do the same thing for the bottom. I think, even if there is a little angle there, a planar on this side makes sense. It's a completely flat surface, so it makes sense. Same for this one, same for this one, although this one will be maybe a little bit more like a planar independent here. You may treat this side slightly differently to the planar. So let's do that one just for a moment there. Let's continue. I just had a little crash here, so I gotta do it. So I was saying I was planning to create a UV map, a planar UV map on this one. The difference is that if I use just the one that I do for all of this all at once, these faces, the ones that are kind of hidden, will be hidden for me, and I want them to be as visible as possible so that the map, when I paint it, has enough space for me to paint the texture there and the texture here. So I'm gonna select these faces here. I select those, and let me go to my selection tool. I'm gonna select them all. Let me see. Let me select those two. Here we go. I'm pressing shift and control at the same time, that way I don't unselect the one that I had already selected. So I'm gonna just go, and for this actually I'm gonna go to my pick option. I'm gonna click on the first one, second, and then I double click on this one. That way it gets the whole row, and I don't have to be clicking on all of them one by one. Same here, I'm gonna click on this one, that one, and then I go all the way down. See, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Let's see if I got this. There we go. It goes along the whole row. That way you save a few seconds there. Okay, I think I got it all. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place my camera looking at, oh, I got too many. Ooh, we went all the way around. That wasn't good. Let me zoom in a little bit. There it is. I'm gonna just do it one more time. Just gotta be careful with those things, because you see I selected more than I wanted to select. So let me just try to get and unselect some stuff here. I'm holding my control key just to unselect. I don't want to select those things. So there it is. That way I just unselect those. I think I don't want to. With control you can unselect anything that you go around. Alright, so let me just do it one more time here. Just making sure that I don't do it wrong this time. kind of picky sometimes, but there we go. Kind of sometimes does it right, sometimes it just doesn't. I have that. Gotta be closer just to make sure I get everybody. Alright, I think finally got it. And make sure that nobody else is selected. If I hit 4, I'll be able to see through. Nobody else is selected. So that way I can go back. And now the projection. So as I said, if I do it from this angle to project the whole thing, that wouldn't work because this face here specifically will be hidden. So I'm going to just go and place my camera as straight on as possible where all of them receive as much as possible influence. Yeah, and I'm going to just do it right there. And I'm going to go into my UV mapping. It's going to be planar again, but this time it's not going to be through any XYZ but through the camera. I'm going to just project that. So that does it there. And I'm just going to call my UV editor one more time. And there it is, just came like this. So I'm just going to just shrink it down to sort of fit the area that it's going to take. You want to make it so that it uses the same proportions as the ones that you already made. Oops. So you don't want to have it larger. If you unselect it by any case, you can just simply double click on it and then grab your move tool and just move it, or your rotation tool and then rotate it wherever you need to rotate it to. So this way you can start organizing your map in your quadrant that you're going to be using for your texturing. There we go. Make sure that it doesn't go out of that area, otherwise it's going to be showing up with white lines or with incomplete textures. So I'm going to just rotate this one too. And this could be, you can place it there if you want, or you can just place it somewhere else, and as long as when you remember the texture. So here is the one that I had for that other side, and then so that one we're gonna keep here, and then this is the one that goes along with this, which is a planar there. Very smartly place it there, so that one's gonna go with that, and that one's gonna be there. And I have a little left over here from somewhere. I'm gonna make sure that one I know where it is from. Oh, the little guy that was left over. So that's a good opportunity. I can see that the hole is here, and it belongs to that little opening there. So the best thing to do is you simply select. You can select the UVs. Right click and select the UVs, and you can come here and then say cut, move and saw, and that's going to move it. Oh, not that. Let me just try to do it one more time. Move and saw, and we're going to try to connect it there. So you can try doing it by reducing or selecting them all, or by just simply selecting, in small groups. You select those two, and then you say move and saw. That is going to move those and going to connect them there. And there's going to be these guys left over here because this guy belongs to that one. So I'm going to just select this guy. I'm going to do the tool again, move and saw, and I'm going to limit it to say just one face. That way it won't affect them all. I'll do the same thing with this one, apply, and then just grab these guys and move them back here so they kind of have a similar kind of like placement that they had before. What this is going to do is going to facilitate your UV mapping, and everything will be good to go. All right. So I just have some left pieces left over here that I just need to place, but I'm gonna grab these guys. I'm gonna put them somewhere here. You wanna use the best use of your map. Don't leave everything tiny, small in one corner. No, you wanna just use the map as much as possible, keeping the proportions of your objects, of course. Okay, so this object, it's pretty much UV'd. Just gonna make sure that everything is correct. And when I'm ready to export, everything will be ready. Let me see. I'm going to, let's see, verify that these guys are correct. So this guy is that one, which is good. I could have keep it there. This one is this two, and although I could keep it like that, I'm going to actually disconnect here, and I'm going to connect this one to this other one. Which I mean by that is that these faces belong to this one here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply say, I'm going to grab the middle line there are these guys. So I'm going to disconnect those right there. Just the middle ones. And I'm going to separate them. In order to separate them, I could go and say cut and saw, cut. So those guys get separated. Now I can grab this one, and I'm going to put it where it belongs, which I believe is right here next to this guy. So I'm going to select actually this. I'm going to rotate it around because I believe they match like that. I'm going to place them closely to it. Let me just double check they really match. UVs, select these ones, and those are that, yeah. So I'm going to just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See if I can select this 5, and then use the same tool, move and saw. And I'm going to limit them to be number of faces actually is 1, 2, 3, 4. See if that makes it. Apply. Oh, that didn't do it completely, so I'm going to just have to do it little by little then. This one here, I'm going to say that, I'm going to just apply that one. Oop, that moved the whole thing, so I'm going to do that. Just make sure that it's working. And I'm actually going to do it a little differently now. So I'm going to simply select the edges that I want to do. I'm going to say apply, move and saw, and that just takes care of it. I was trying to do it with the vertices, but apparently in 2019 it works a little bit better with just the edges. So now the UV map connects to the whole thing, which makes sense to be a one whole surface there. And I have a bunch of little pieces here that we just need to make sure that they make sense. So this front here, that's okay to have it separate, it's kind of its own kind of side, and I have this one to be the other one, which is fine. And the ones that are left are these little tiny guys here that I want to just know where they are. And actually they are all parts of the cylinder, which I am going to do slightly differently. And in this case, this guy I'm going to use a cylindrical map. So now they are selected there. I'm just going to simply say UV. I'm going to say cylindrical. I'll open it up just to look at it. Insert projection before the format, that's correct. Project. And that creates a manipulator there. You can see it there, this little red and green thing. And I can, you see it there, I can grab, you see the little kind of semi cylinder with the little gray lines. I'm gonna grab those red little controllers. I'm gonna show you what to do here. Because it combined all of those little pieces, it combined them all into a single one, so I can control the map going around that cylinder. And you can see now the cylinder have fit into a single map. I'm gonna shrink it down because actually that map very tiny. I'm gonna just grab my move tool. I'm gonna move it. I'm gonna just place it there, and call it done. Again, it is small because it's just one little piece there. I can make it a little bit smaller still, and then just scale them down a tiny bit more to fit the proportions of the whole object. So we've done with this object, we did planar for the top, for this section. You know, all these guys have planar too, with from the different angles. This one we use the camera from the camera, and we use cylindrical for the cylinder, which is gave us that cylindrical map. So we got one manual way of doing this projection map.